Hello, St. Philip Lutheran Church and friends. I am Pastor Brad Doty, coming to you with our devotion for Good Friday. But why good? Why do we call it Good Friday? Is Jesus' crucifixion and death really good? We don't ever consider death to be good. It's something we mourn and grieve. But it's because of what God came to do that makes this day good. It's a fulfillment of God's salvation for us and for the world. That through Jesus' suffering and death, we receive God's forgiveness, God's grace in our life. And it's because Jesus became our sacrificial lamb. John in the Gospel of John wants us to know and really points out that Friday, that particular Friday, is the day of preparation. Not necessarily the day of preparation for Passover, but the day of preparation for the Sabbath day, when the animals were sacrificed because they could not do work on the Sabbath day itself. So when the other animals and lambs were being sacrificed, Jesus also offered himself up for us as a sacrifice, taking on our sin, our punishment, and dying for our sake, as those animals took on the punishment of the Israelites to receive forgiveness from God. John the Baptist points out in the very beginning of the Gospel of John in chapter 1, he says, as he sees Jesus, "Here is the Lamb of God who takes away the sin of the world." And here we are on the day of preparation, Jesus dying and sacrificing himself, taking on our sin and our punishment so that we may be forgiven and receive that gift of grace and forgiveness and love. So now, let us hear this story of Jesus' death and crucifixion through the Gospel of Matthew. As they were going out, they met a man from Cyrene named Simon, and they forced him to carry the cross. They came to a place called Golgotha, which means the place of the skull. There they offered Jesus wine to drink, mixed with gall. But after tasting it, he refused to drink it. When they had crucified him, they divided his clothes by casting lots, and sitting down, they kept watch over him there. Above his head, they placed a written charge against him. "This is Jesus, the King of the Jews." 2 rebels were crucified with him, one on his right and one on his left. Those who passed by hurled insults at him, shaking their heads and saying, "You who are going to destroy the temple and build it in 3 days, save yourself. Come down from the cross if you are the Son of God." In the same way, the chief priests, the teachers of the law, and the elders mocked him. "He saved others," they said, "but he cannot save himself. He's the King of Israel. Let him come down from the cross, and we will believe in him. He trusts in God. Let God rescue him now, if he wants him, for he said, 'I am the Son of God.'" In the same way, the rebels who were crucified with him also hurled and heaped insults on him. From noon on until 3 in the afternoon, darkness came over all the land. About 3 in the afternoon, Jesus cried out in a loud voice, "Eli, Eli, lema sabachthani," which means, my God, why have you forsaken me?" When some of those standing there heard this, they said, "He's calling Elijah." Immediately, one of them ran and got a sponge. He filled it with wine vinegar, put it on a staff, and offered it to Jesus to drink. The rest said, Now leave him alone. Let's see if Elijah comes to save him." And when Jesus had cried out again in a loud voice, he gave up his spirit. At that moment, the curtain of the temple was torn in two from top to bottom. The earth shook, the rocks split, and tombs were open. The bodies of many holy people who had died were raised to life. They came out of the tombs after Jesus' resurrection and went into the holy city and appeared to many people. When the centurion and those with him who were guarding Jesus saw the earthquake and all that had happened, they were terrified and exclaimed, "Surely he was the Son of God." The gospel of the Lord. Praise to you, O Christ. On this Good Friday, as we remember how far God would go for us, to suffer and die on the cross, may we mourn his death and our sin that led Jesus to the cross. And may we give thanks for God's love and God's grace, that Jesus would die on the cross so that we may be forgiven, so that we may receive life through him. Thanks be to God. Have a blessed Good Friday.